The first thing that we are going to do, I am starting with my stand mixer with the paddle attachment. And the first thing that we're going to do for this recipe is we're going to put in the butter. We're going to cream the butter and the sugar, but we're going to cream the butter for just a couple of minutes first. Okay, now that the butter is nice and creamy with a lot of air, we are going to put in the sugar. Okay, and we are going to cream that for at least 2 minutes. We need it real nice and fluffy. Okay, I'm going to scrape everything down. And we are going to add our egg. Okay, we are going to add 1 egg. Make sure that all your ingredients are at room temperature. That really helps everything incorporate nicely. Okay, we're going to beat that in until we don't see the egg anymore. Okay, that's good. Now we are going to add in our vanilla. I have plain vanilla, and you can use clear vanilla if you don't want to darken the batter. And here I have almond extract. And then we're going to beat that in. Okay, now I'm just going to scrape everything off the bowl before we start adding our dry ingredients. Okay, now for the dry ingredients, I'm just going to move this over to show you. We have our flour, our baking powder, and our salt. We're just going to give this a little mix just to make sure everything incorporates. And then we're going to put it into our batter just a little bit at a time. Okay, we're going to bring the mixer back. We're going to put in a couple of spoons at a time. Start slow so you don't get a flour bath. Okay. And then you just keep adding. Okay, and that should be good. We're going to take it out of the bowl. We're going to wrap it in some saran wrap. And this dough, you don't have to chill it. You can roll it right away. This is why I love to work with this dough, cookie dough. Okay, we're going to take this off. Move the mixer. And we are going to pour it out on our workbench. It is clean. Okay, and then we're just going to work this together. Okay, I have the ball of dough here, and I'm just going to cut it into 2 balls. Okay, I'm going to put them in the fridge for about 30 minutes and we'll be right back. Okay guys, I've had the dough in the refrigerator. I left it a little bit too long. It was about an hour, but I just set it out for about 5 minutes on the counter and it'll soften up a little. We're going to use 1 dough ball at a time. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle some flour on the cutting board and sprinkle some on the dough and put some on the rolling pin, and we're going to start rolling this out. And we want to get this to about 1/4 inch thick. And I move it around just so I know that it's not sticking to the counter. Okay, that should be good right there. I have a cookie sheet with some parchment paper already on there. And what I'm going to do is, I have my cookie cutter, my pumpkin cookie cutter, because that's what I'm going to use. I'm just going to use one design, and we just start cutting them out. And then whatever you don't use, we're just going to re-roll it. You can either use a little offset spatula like this to pick them up, put them on the cookie tray, or you can use a bench scraper. Okay, and then you get as many cookie sheets as you need. There we go. And then we just gather this back together, form it into a ball, and roll it back up. Just like that. And there you go. And I'm just going to keep going with the next one. Okay, and that's going to be the last one. I'm going to pop these in the freezer for a little bit so they can firm back up before we start to bake them, so they don't shrink as much. Okay, guys, I took them out of the freezer. They were in there for about 30 minutes. I'm going to pop them in a 350-degree oven for about 8 to 10 minutes, maybe 11 minutes, but I'm going to keep my eye on them. Okay, I'll be back after they're all cooked. Okay guys, I baked all the cookies and I put them on this tray, and we are going to start making the meringue. So I'm just going to set the cookies aside. And for the royal icing, this is what I use, not necessarily this brand. I get this meringue on Amazon. I will link it below so you can find it to make the royal icing. Now this brand calls for a half a cup of cold water, a quarter of a cup of meringue powder, and 4 cups of confectioner's sugar. And you beat it to a stiff peak. After we do that, then I'm going to color the icing, the meringue, with orange and green for the pumpkins, okay? So I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to put in on our stand mixer, I'm going to put in the meringue powder and the water, and we're going to beat this until stiff peaks. Okay, we're going to start adding the confectioner's sugar just a little bit at a time. The texture is just going to depend on what you're going to do with your cookies. I'm going to ice them, so I want it a little runny, but I want it for the lines, I needed for it to be a little bit firm also. So we're just going to do an in-between. See how it's thickening up now? Now, if you need to adjust because you want the icing a little firmer, all you do is add some more confectioner's sugar. That's going to be totally up to you with what you're doing with your project. There. Now, I'm going to pour some into individual bowls because I'm going to put a green color and an orange color. And I'll be right back. Okay, guys. What I do is I put my cobbler on with my tip into the pastry bag. And I put it into a cup so I can scoop in the meringue in here. And then you just twist it here at the top. And then it starts coming out. And there you go. I'm going to get the green bag set up and I'll be right back. Alright, I am going to start with the outline of the pumpkin. And I try to keep the tip clean. And I just go on the outline. And then I'm going to let that dry for just a little bit and move on to the next one. It takes a little bit to get your swing, you know, once you do them for a little bit. And they don't have to be perfect. That's why they're homemade. You just do however you can. Now we're going to do the little stem. And this one has a smaller tip on it, only because it's a smaller area. Okay, I let that dry. Okay, I'm going to continue doing some. I'm going to put these on the rack in the meantime. And I'm going to move on to a few more. Okay, now that these have sat and dried for a little bit, we're going to start filling in. I changed back to the larger tip. And then you just go in and fill your area. And that's why I do the lines first, so that my icing doesn't run out. And then if it doesn't move around for you, I just get a little toothpick and I fill it in. Or just leave them rustic like that. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. If you want to fill in the middle, you can. And then I fill in the little stem. I like to use sometimes these little googly eyes on them if you want to get silly with them. It's up to you. You don't have to. I like to play around with them. I put a little dot just to hold the eye. Then I place the little eye right in the center. And there you have your silly little pumpkin. If you want to put a little mouth on him, you can. And there you go. Silly pumpkin. I'm going to keep going with these, and I'm just going to change them around however I feel like today. And I'll be checking in with you. So you can do it with the sprinkles just like that one. Okay guys, I'm going to keep going and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay guys, this is my version of Halloween cookies. And this is how I chose to dress them up. You can dress them up however you like. You know, if you want to get the kids involved and get a bunch of bags with the icing, you can. It's just a fun project. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just for the fun of it. I will have the recipe and all the items that I used for this recipe in the description box below. So take a look there. And if the kids are going to be out trick-or-treating tonight, please be safe. Thank you so much for watching my videos, guys. And go visit us on Facebook at Virtual Kitchen with Laura. And share the video with family and friends. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to y'all later. Bye.